of globalization, in Immanuel Wallerstein or the Wallerstein theory, the world focuses on the importance of the world as a unit rather than looking at individual countries. It divides the world into three regions, which is core, periphery, and semi-periphery. So let's talk about the core countries. These countries have a strong central government with enough tax to support it. They are economically diversified, industrialized, and relatively independent of outside control. In short, sila yung mayayamang bansa katulad na lamang ng Western Europe at United States. These countries are capital intensive, have high wages, and high technology production patterns. They also focuses on high-scope production of material goods rather than raw materials. Next is periphery. Periphery countries are those in Latin America and Africa. Kung sa core countries, they have a strong government. Sa periphery countries naman, they have a weak government. And they also depend on one type of economic activity, which is raw materials. In short, sila yung mahihirap na bansa. There's a high percentage of poor and uneducated people as well as small upper class, which controls most of the economy, and it creates huge inequality in the population. Periphery countries are greatly influenced by core countries and transnational corporations. Dumidepende ang periphery countries sa core countries, and malalaman natin yun pag in-explain ko na ang theory model of Wallerstein theory. Next is semi-periphery. Semi-periphery countries like Brazil, Taiwan, Mexico, and South Korea are the middle ground of the core countries and periphery countries. They are not dominant in international trade, but they have a relatively diversified and developed economy. These semi-periphery countries can come either from periphery countries moving up toward the industrial core countries or core countries declining toward the periphery status. Next naman ay ang model ng Wallerstein theory. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang periphery countries ang nag-extract ng raw materials. Sa mga raw materials na galing sa periphery countries ay ini-import sa core countries at sila ang nagmamanufacture nito. Manufactured products naman na nagawa ng core countries ay binibenta ng mas doble pa sa presyo sa periphery countries. Ang nasa gitna naman ng model na ito ay ang semi-periphery countries. Ang semi-periphery countries naman, they can export manufactured products sa core countries, and they can also export raw materials sa periphery countries. They can also import raw materials sa core countries na galing sa periphery countries.
What is the meaning of world polity? Global politics, also known as world politics, names both the discipline that studies the political and economic patterns of the world, and the field that is being studied at the center of the field are the different processes of political globalization in relation to social power. Global politics is said by some to be distinct from the field in international politics, commonly seen as a branch of international relations, as it does not stress primacy of intergovernment relation and transaction. That this distinction, however, has not always has been held among the authors and political scientists who often use the term international politics to mean global politics. What is the global relation or global divide? Global divide is about the different factors that affect the improvements or advancement of the different states all around the globe. The two divisions of global divide is we have here global north and global south. The global north is rich in industrial countries, and the global south is poor and developing countries. Global north is basically rich experience and advancement in modern technology, and all services are accessible. The top 10 countries that have the best work-life balance in 2019. Number 1 is Netherlands, number 2 is Italy, and number 3 Denmark, and number 4 Spain, and number 5 France, and number 6 Lithuania, and number 7 Norway, and number 8 Belgium, and number 9 Germany, and number 10 Sweden. And the global south, poor and developing countries, and these countries are left behind. Even the access to basic social service is a matter of privilege. Many places remain stricken by underdevelopment, poverty, and inequality. And we have the top 10 world's poorest countries. Number 1 is Congo, number 2 is Mozambique, number 3 is Uganda, number 4 is Tajikistan, and number 5 Yemen, and number 7 Ethiopia, and number 8 Tanzania, and number 9 Kyrgyzstan, and number 10 is Uzbekistan. And how can we consider if the country is under? And it is based on the level of the development or improvement that the countries achieve. To be specific is what we call GPD, which is gross domestic product per capita. The average income person, this measure of income is useful for comparing levels of development. An increase in GDP is caused by increase in national productivity. And in terms of development using the GPD per capita approach was about following the rich industrialized countries. And income inequality, we measure of how the wealth in the economy is distributed among the population.
The necessity of globalization is driven by different factors, including the ability of sharing knowledge and resources, as well as the cultural understanding and tolerance. When it comes to sharing knowledge and resources, globalization promotes the exchange of ideas or information, technologies, and best practices, which can lead to increased productivity and innovation. While in cultural understanding and tolerance, globalization encourages cultural interaction and understanding, leading to greater tolerance and acceptance of different cultures and ways of life.
It is very important to study globalization because understanding the contemporary international political economy is an essential part of being an informed citizen. Additionally, it is an important part of learning about our human involvement with the environment and the society.
Weaknesses of globalization. Number 1 is increase in competition. Dahil sa kaluwagan sa kalakalan, nanganganib ang ilang mga local business dahil kailangan nilang makikompetensya sa multinational corporation na nagko-produce ng high-quality goods at mura at the same time, na tinatangkilik naman ng mga tao. Number 2, exploitation of labor and resources. Matagal nang usapan sa Senado ang pang-aabuso sa mga empleyado kung saan sila ay pinagtatrabaho ng higit sa kanilang kakayahan at ang kanilang natanggap ay mababang pasweldo. Batay sa data, Filipinos are the most overworked employees in Southeast Asia. Lack of environmental regulation in some developing countries also allows developed countries to import resources such as precious metal at lower prices. This results in both lasting environmental damage and human rights abuses.
Exploitation of labor and resources. How to prevent it? First, educate ourselves. Educate ourselves about the issue so that we can spot the sign of labor exploitation. By spotting the sign, you can help to change the course of an individual future. Second, report anything you deem suspicious. If you suspect that someone's being exploited or yourself is being a victim of human trafficking, call the nearest local authorities or supporting organization. Lack of environmental regulation. In my opinion, enhancing our development as people, we are here to preserve the ecosystem and the earth. If we don't properly care for it, it will also be our loss because if Mother Earth is destroyed, we won't have any place to live. Imagine what our future holds if humans continue to clear forests, pollute the air, dump waste into the sea, and cut down the trees. We must begin to adapt, to learn from our mistake, and to act morally for the future of the children. Education is necessary. We must start protecting the environment. Let's all make change and work together for a better future before it's too late.